we as a continent have now defined
In the news, court orders CBN to unfreeze 20 NSAS protesters' bank accounts. Across Africa, internet and social media restrictions lifted in Uganda. On the global scene, EU boss admits vaccine rollout shortcomings, and in business, over 32 billion naira worth of cocaine confiscated in Lagos. In sports, Rivers United will be ready to play Eimba on Valentine's Day. Details shortly. Hello, welcome to TOS TV, your digital first Pan-African news network. I am Osaze Isesele, and this is TOS News 360. The Federal High Court in Abuja on Wednesday ordered the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to unfreeze the accounts of 20 NSAS campaigners targeted by the Apex Bank after last year's anti-police brutality demonstrations. The judge, Ahmed Mohammed, issued the order on freezing the accounts after the legal teams of both the CBN and the 20 defendants decided to end the case on Wednesday. In the light of this, the ex-party order issued on November 4, 2021, freezing the accounts of the defendants pending the investigation by the Central Bank of Nigeria is hereby set aside. An order is also made on freezing the accounts of the defendants, Mr. Mohammed ruled on Wednesday. Nigeria's representatives have arrived in Marwa in Cameroon for the repatriation of 9,800 Nigerian refugees. The 9,800 are those in the first phase of the repatriation from Cameroon out of 46,000 Nigerians taking refuge in Minawa camp in Central Africa country. A statement on Wednesday by spokesman for the Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, Malam Issa Guswa, said the governor had arrived Marwa in Cameroon alongside officials of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. He disclosed that Zulum arrived in Cameroon on Tuesday evening and on Wednesday led the Nigerian delegation on a meeting on the tripartite agreement signed between Nigeria, Cameroon and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees, which is to hold in Marwa in far north Cameroon, with Governor of Cameroon's far north, Mijiyawa Bakari, as the host. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki on Tuesday backtracked on his earlier position on land for herders in the state. Obaseki in 2019, during the now suspended controversial Roga program of the federal government, was among the governors who rejected the idea of the state government providing land for herders to build a settlement and grazing area for their cattle. Mr. Obaseki, however, reversed himself on Tuesday, saying Edo State would create a grazing area for herders to curb clashes with farmers. The governor said this while on the fact-finding tour to Udo, Ovia Southwest local government area of the state, to assess the impact of the herders-farmers conflict in the state. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, is to prosecute 200 out of the 400 exam cheats and impersonators with 500,000 naira each, total of 100 million naira. The admission fraud was committed in the 2020 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME. This was disclosed by the Registrar JAM, Professor Ishak Oloyede, during the press conference held in Abuja on Tuesday. He explained that examination scam syndicates in the computer-based test centers, which used to be in the southern part of Nigeria, has now crept into the north. While alleging that some tertiary institutions were accomplices in the widespread irregularities, he said the first 64 cases of CBT infractions treated by JAM were from the north, with some having multiple cases of up to 96 irregularities. This is your digital first Pan-African network, TOS TV. You are watching TOS News 360. Up next, developments across Africa. After the break, do stay tuned. Thanks for staying tuned. We continue with stories across Africa. The Uganda government has announced the full restoration of internet and social media services. The services were severely restricted on the eve of 14th January election. We apologize for the inconveniences caused, but it was for the security of our country, Peter Ogwang, State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, tweeted. He added, let's be constructive, not destructive consumers/users of social media. President Yoweri Museveni at the time accused social media companies of being arrogant and biased. The development comes as Facebook said it had shut down more than 200 accounts linked to the ruling party's campaign. The social media company alleged that the accounts were seeking to spread misinformation and to manipulate public debate ahead of the highly contested poll. Museveni secured a 6th term in the election, but Bobi Wine is challenging the results in court, alleging that there was widespread fraud. Burkina Faso President Roch Marc Christian Kabore started an official visit in Brussels on Tuesday and met with senior European Union officials. The meeting is geared towards strengthening socio-economic partnership, security and health cooperation between Burkina Faso and the EU. His visit also intends to strengthen cooperation even as he begins his 5-year term as the President. Kabore met European Council President Charles Michel and European Parliament President David Sassoli, amongst others. After Belgium, the Burkina Faso President will meet his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron on Wednesday at the LC Palace in Paris. The Senegalese army said Tuesday it took 3 rebel bases in the restive southern region, Casamance, and recovered weapons during an offensive launched in late January after months of a lull in the long-standing conflict. Officers of the Senegalese army took the press for a rare visit to 2 of these cantonments, shelters of tin and wood scattered under tall trees in the forest of Blaise and sheltering some kind of buried bunkers that can shelter a few people. The surroundings of these bases were punctuated with burnt surfaces, traces of the fighting, according to Senegalese officers. The Senegalese army provided no indication of losses on either side, and no assessment of the human toll is otherwise available from a reliable and independent source. This is your digital first Pan-African network, TOS TV. You are watching TOS News 360. Up next, stories from the international scene after the break. Welcome back. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has admitted the EU was late to authorize COVID-19 vaccines, and we're still not where we want to be, she said. She also acknowledged the EU had been overconfident about production targets being met amid delays at factories. Von der Leyen has come under fire for the EU's slow vaccine rollout. However, von der Leyen maintained that a joint EU response had been the correct decision in dealing with the pandemic. I can't even imagine if a few big players had rushed to it and the others went empty-handed. In economic terms, it would have been nonsense and it would have been, I think, the end of our community, she said. The U.S. Senate has found that the impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump is constitutional, allowing full proceedings to begin. Trump is accused of inciting insurrection when Congress was stormed last month. Trump's defense team argued that he could not face trial after leaving the White House, but a 56-44 majority voted in favor of continuing, with a handful of Republicans backing the measure. Lawyers for the former president argued it was unconstitutional to put the former president through the process at all and accused Democrats of being politically motivated. Each side now has the opportunity to present their case, which began at 17:00 GMT on Wednesday. These arguments are expected to run through until the weekend, when senators will get a chance to ask both sides questions. People turned to the streets of Yemen's remote capital and Yangon on Wednesday after the police used rubber bullets and water cannon to break up protests, leaving 2 people in hospital, one of them fighting for her life. Several civil servants from the Energy Ministry were seen walking out of their workplace on Wednesday as they denounced the coup leaders and called for the restoration of parliament. The coup must fail, the protesters shouted. Meanwhile, late on Tuesday, the military raided the Yangon headquarters of the NLD. The military detector raided and destroyed NLD headquarters at around 9:30 p.m., the National League for Democracy announced in a short statement on its Facebook page. The raid was carried out by about a dozen police personnel who forced their way into the building in the commercial capital after dark, elected lawmakers said. This is your digital first Pan-African network, TOS TV. You are watching TOS News 360. Up next is business and sports. Welcome back. You're still watching TOS News 360. In business, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has seized 40 parcels of cocaine weighing 43.11 kg with an estimated street value of over 32 billion at the Tinkan port in Lagos. The Commander Tinkan Port Command (NDLEA) Sumaila Ethan disclosed this in a statement by the Head of Public Affairs, Jonah Akima, in Abuja. He said that the consignment containing the illicit drug was put under surveillance by operatives of the Tinkan Command of the NDLEA for some days until two clearing agents showed up on February 8 to clear it. Ethan said the two clearing agents have been promptly arrested and the consignment, which was brought into Nigeria from Brazil on board the vessel marked MV Spascopio, properly searched. Now in sports, Rivers United will be ready to play Eimba on Valentine's Day. Two of Nigeria's biggest clubs, Rivers United and Eimba, will be playing against each other for passage to the group stage of the 2021 CAF Confederation Cup on February 14. Rivers United coach Stanley Eguma says playing against Eimba on the 14th is an unfortunate development which they must confront in the course of the championship. He said it would have been better for the two Nigerian sides to meet at the final stage of the competition rather than at this stage. However, Eguma is not faced by the prospect of battling with their more successful counterparts, saying his players are ready to surmount every obstacle on their way to success this season. And that is TOS News 360 on your digital first Pan-African news network. For more updates, visit www.tostvnetwork.com. Do follow and like TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Do stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS TV Network. I am Osaze Isesele. Thanks for watching.